So you're thinking about buying a home? Stay tuned for the steps it takes to make that happen. Let's do it. Hey, this is Jonathan McCoy with Keller Williams Realty, Chattahoochee North, and I'm a real estate agent here in the metro Atlanta area. Sorry for the break in the weeks of videos. Usually I post every Thursday, but last Thursday I didn't because, well, fractured my wrist. So I had a little delay, but now we're back on track. So today we're talking about the steps it takes to purchasing a home. This is going to be just an overall view, and for details on each of these steps, you can look for videos I've put or other people have put out on these steps. Eventually I'll have videos for all these steps in much more detail. All right, step one, determine why you want to buy a home. There are lots of different reasons to purchase a home, whether you're thinking, hey, I want to build up equity, whether you want just a place of your own that you can do whatever you want with. There's a lot of different reasons, but really determine why you want to purchase a home. Step two, determine how much you want to and can afford for your monthly payments for your home. Now, I tell everyone that I work with, all my clients, that this is a very important step to do before you see homes, because when you're doing this and you haven't seen homes, you're thinking with your head. You've got your numbers in front of you, you've got your budget, you're saying this is how much we can afford. However, later on, when you start seeing homes, you start thinking more with your heart, and sometimes that home is a little bit or a lot more than you previously stated that you wanted to pay. So this is an important step. Go ahead and figure out how much do you want to and can you afford to pay. Now on to step number three, and that is, do you have enough money to afford to purchase a home? All right, first thing to look at, down payment. Now, some people think that you have to have 20% down to purchase a home, and this is not true. Matter of fact, there are actually programs out there that ask for 0% down to purchase a home. Typically what I come across is most people buying a home, especially if they're first-time home buyers, are around 3 to 3.5%. If someone has more money or saved up, then we're talking about the 10 to 20%, and every once in a while, maybe you're a cash buyer. Second thing you need to look at when you're trying to figure out can you afford a home is your closing costs. Now, there are costs associated with closing on a home that don't actually go into purchasing or the equity of your home. Closing costs consist of your lender's fees, your attorney's fees, the pulling of title and title insurance, and much more. So you've got to figure this out. Typically, and this isn't always true, but typically you're talking about 3% to 3.5% of the purchase price of the home. That's going to be about what it takes for your closing costs and your cash to close. The third thing you're going to look at when you're trying to figure out can you afford the home are inspection costs. Now, everyone should do an inspection on a home, and sometimes there might be more than one inspection to be done. What I mean by that is you have a home inspection. That can range based on size of the home and the inspector or inspection companies. So I'm just going to give a typical range of like $400 to do a home inspection. So that's going to be paid up front before you even go through all the process of closing on a home. So do you have that money? In addition, maybe the home has a septic system or an older HVAC system you want looked at. So these little things can build up along the way. If you're doing a septic inspection, you actually have to have the septic pumped and then looked at. That can be another $400. So there's a lot of different costs that can go into a home and purchasing it, and one of the things to think about are your inspection costs. Fourth thing you want to look at when looking to purchase a home and can you afford it are, do you already have furniture? All right, or are you going to have to purchase that after you buy a home, and do you have money for that? So think about what's going into your home after you purchase it, and hey, after you buy, are you just going to be out of all your money, or you still have some in reserve? So definitely something to think about. All right, fifth thing to think about when thinking, hey, can I afford a home and do I have the money, is just the maintenance of a home and understanding how much it costs to maintain a home. If you've rented before, or you're in the process of renting, you know, if the HVAC goes out or the water heater goes out or you need a new dishwasher, you just call the maintenance team or whoever's renting your home to you, and they come in and fix that. Well, now you're in charge of that. So you need to have money set aside for maintenance of a home. Depending on the size of the home and the makeup of the home, this will vary on how much you should put aside. Step 4 to purchasing a home is getting pre-approved or pre-qualified. Now, at this step, you actually might want to think about contacting a real estate agent if you don't have a lender or want to get their opinion on lenders. But contacting a lender and getting pre-approved or pre-qualified is very important right now. You need to make sure that a lender will actually give you a loan before you go through the process of starting to look at homes. So contact a lender, find out, can you get approved for a loan? Step 5, figuring out what you want in your home. Now, this is pretty fun. You can give your must-have list, then you can go through your really want to have, and then your dreams of what a home would look like. But go through and figure out numbers of bedrooms, numbers of baths, open concept, updates, things like that. It's good to have an idea of what you want. That way you can quickly weed out the houses that don't match. Now to step 6, location, location, location. Real estate's about location, and most people, it's important to them too. So figure out where you're looking at. A hard thing when you're getting a realtor to help you try to find a house is saying, hey, I have this large area to look at. If you say, hey, I just want to move to Metro Atlanta, it doesn't matter where, it's really hard to pinpoint a house. So figure out where you want to be located, close to work, close to friends, close to the party scene, whatever it is you're wanting, figure out your location. Step 7, contact a real estate agent. Now, this could actually be step 1, step 2, step 3. You can put it at anywhere, but I would definitely at this point, I think by step 7, you should definitely contact a real estate agent. If you have questions as you've gone through, the real estate agent should be able to help you with all these, whether it's getting a lender, whether it's pinpointing where you want to live, in terms of location, whether it's trying to figure out your budget even. A real estate agent can really help with that. So make sure at this step you've contacted a real estate agent. Step 8, what you want and what you can afford. Are they realistic? That's the next step. So you're talking with a real estate agent, and if you say, hey, I want to buy a $200,000 home. Now, depending on where you're at, but I'm talking about Metro Atlanta area, you can buy a home for that, but you've got to be realistic in what that can buy and the location that can purchase it at. If you're trying to buy in downtown Atlanta and you're saying, hey, I want $200,000, but I want a home with 5 bedrooms and 4 baths and updates, that ain't gonna happen. So really talk about with your real estate agents, now that you've set up how much you can afford and what you want. What you can afford, does that match your expectations? And if not, how can you bring down those expectations? On to step 9, seeing properties. This is the fun part. You get to go and see properties with your agent to try to figure out which property is right for you. And just to give a heads up, pictures aren't always as they seem. So going to properties sometimes can be disappointing for some if they think this is the best home ever and they get there and the pictures actually are way better than what the property is. So just know that in advance, but going to see properties should be a good time. And since we're talking about going to see properties, you can take a look at my 2-part series on looking at properties and the things that you should look at but probably don't. So take a look. Step 10, we're now looking at making an offer. You finally found the right home and you want to make an offer. So that's step 10. You are going to get with your agent, write up all the details of the offer and submit it to the listing agent, and hopefully it gets accepted. Getting under contract is step 11. So you've submitted your offer, whether you negotiate or they just accept it right away, you now are at the step where you get under contract. So you're very excited, but there's still a number of steps to go before you close. Now you are in due diligence for step 12. In some places that are not in Georgia, this is an inspection period, but in Georgia we have due diligence where depending on how many days you put on your offer that was accepted, depends on how many days you get to get your inspection done and to make sure you still want to buy this home. So this is the time frame. You make sure this is the home for you. During this time as a buyer, if you figure out it's not the right home or the inspection shows something that you don't want to deal with or the owner's not willing to fix, then this is the time you can break contract. All right, we're getting closer to the end. Step 13, your financing and appraisal contingencies. Your financing contingency is a time frame that which the lender has to get into all your business. All right, they're gonna get all your documents and your information during this time frame and make sure that you actually do qualify for the loan and they will give you the loan. So that's the financing contingency. Appraisal contingency time is where the time frame that the appraiser can come in, take a look at the home and make sure that the sales price and the loan match. All right, if it prices for higher, fantastic. If the property prices for lower than the sales price, then you might have some issues. But it can be dealt with, but that's for another video. All right, step 14, you're before closing, you do want to make sure that if during the inspection period some items were found, the owner agreed to fix those items, that these items are actually repaired and have been repaired. So whether you're getting receipts, whether you're getting a re-inspection done, any of those things, this is the steps to make sure that those items that have been negotiated that the owner is supposed to be taken care of are actually completed. Closing day, step 15 is closing day. So as the buyer, you'll go to the closing attorney, make sure your hands are limber because you're going to be signing lots of documents. These documents shouldn't be a surprise. Most of the documents have been sent to you by your lender you've seen. And then the closing attorney will go through all the documents and make sure you understand them. But closing day is a good day. Last but not least, celebrate for step 16. You are now a homeowner. And maybe you'll freak out as well, so because you're now a homeowner. But enjoy, celebrate. You have now gone through the process of owning a home. And make sure you keep your agent in mind. Things will come up with your home possibly, and your agent should be there for life to call. Whether it's maybe the roof goes bad in 5 or 10 years, and you need a roofer and you don't have one, call your agent. Maybe they have a good roofer or roofers that they can recommend to trying to figure out refinancing for a home and should you do it and things like that. So enjoy now that you're a new homeowner. I hope these steps were helpful in understanding the process of purchasing a home. Again, my name is Jonathan McCoy and I post every Thursday, so think about subscribing, hit the notification button, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section. I post every Thursday.